Hello, what is up? The Dreadnoks. I love the Dreadnoks. Everyone loves the Dreadnoks. How can you not? Which is why I'm very excited that today, after many moons of waiting, I have finally received my G.I. Joe classified Ripper, which I expected to be here quite a while ago, and I'm not entirely certain why it took so long, but I digress. Anyways, Ripper here is the second, well, actually, technically the third member of the Dreadnoks that has been released so far, because they've also released Zartan, who is the leader of the Dreadnoks, and I am hoping that he is a bit of a step up from the previous two Dreadnoks figures, because that Zartan, while I love Zartan, he's one of my favorite characters. Probably my second favorite G.I. Joe character after Destro, actually. But that G.I. Joe classified Zartan figure is pretty rough. He was one of the earlier figures. I think it was just before they'd really hit their stride. And the Buzzer figure here, while I do like it overall, it's definitely not a terrible figure. Like, I like the way it looks. They stayed faithful to the original character design, which I always appreciate. But he definitely has some pretty significant issues, I must say. First of all, the ab crunch, in addition to being one of the most glaringly obvious and ugly ab crunches you will see, is extremely loosey-goosey and floppy. He just kind of flops around like a dead fish. Like, I guess that doesn't make any sense. I guess a dead fish wouldn't be flopping. Kind of flops around like a fish out of water. He's got like a floppy, flaccid torso, and that's never good. You never want that. Secondly, his glasses. As you can see, he is not wearing his sunglasses, and that is because they do not fit. And unlike, say, with Sergeant Slaughter, where his glasses had the little pegs on the inside of the stems that you could plug into his temple, Buzzer's glasses do not have any way to secure them in place. And again, they do not even come close to fitting. And third, as you can also see, he is not holding any of his weapons. Unfortunately, they do not fit in his hand. There's just something about the way his hand is sculpted and designed. The handles on his weapons just do not fit in his hands at all. And again, I don't know if any of those issues are like wider issues with the Buzzer figures in general, or if they're just specific to mine and I just happen to get a wonky one. But in any case, yeah, not a terrible figure, but definitely has some issues. Hoping that Ripper is a step up, because the Dreadnoks deserve better. Anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at the packaging. So we've got Ripper here standing in front of some music equipment. So maybe the Dreadnoks do have a nice little family band going, like I said in the Buzzer video. Because much like Buzzer, Ripper is standing in front of some band equipment. So we've got the drum set here. We've got the amp. And again, like the Buzzer photo, we have the most important part of band practice: grape soda. You can see someone's chopper parked outside through the window here. We've got some character art on the side here. Same character art on that side. And then on the back, we've got all the stuff pictured here, including a nice close-up of his tattoo, which is looking pretty gnarly. And we've got his earring. Is that a razor blade? Yes, indeed. He's got a razor blade earring, so that's pretty tough. And his cool shades, which, again, hopefully they fit. I almost wish they were, like, sculpted on, just because after the Buzzer debacle, I don't have much faith that they're actually going to fit. Failing that, hopefully they at least have some kind of pegs or something to secure them in place, or at least fit better than Buzzers do, because Ripper is not Ripper without his shades, so it would be quite the bummer if they do not fit or do not have any way to stay on. And really not much in terms of like character history or backstory for Ripper. Basically, he was born a nuisance, and he's still a nuisance today. Bounced around various foster homes and juvenile detention centers, getting kicked out of every place. Got kicked out of a few biker gangs for being too crazy, and ended up with the Dreadnoks. And the Dreadnoks, of course, are Zartan's motorcycle gang. They are not technically a part of Cobra, but they often work for or with Cobra. So yeah, gotta love the Dreadnoks. Hoping they release some more Dreadnoks in the future. I'd really like it if they rounded out their ranks. Especially, I'm hoping they release Torch soon. He's actually my favorite Dreadnok, so. But I would also like them to release the rest of the Dreadnoks that joined later on. like Road Pig and Thrasher and Zanzibar and all those dudes. That would be pretty spectacular. But yeah, in any case, let's go ahead and open this dude up and see what we've got. Alright, so here is Ripper, and first impression looking pretty awesome. Much like Buzzer, he's very faithful to the original character design, which is nice. Yeah, looking pretty cool right off the bat. Let's go ahead and do a quick 360. And before we check out articulation and everything, let's take a closer look at his face here. So right off the bat, I love this face sculpt. Definitely a step up from some of the other classified figures in terms of detailing. Looking pretty grizzled and crazed and generally insane, which is what you want. Definitely looking like a crazed lunatic, crazy biker man. I like, if you'll notice, that his eyes and even his eyebrows are different. So you've got the one eye that's kind of squinting more, and the other eye that's kind of bulging out, which definitely adds to the crazed lunatic face. And it looks like he has is that a teardrop tattoo? I believe he has a teardrop tattoo under his eye there. Nice touch. Mohawk looking pretty gnarly, pretty tough. Nice mohawk there. And we've got, is that the razor blade earring is not very noticeable because for some reason it's painted almost black. I'm not sure why it's not silver. So kind of blends in with his beard. Unless I just have terrible lighting in here, because now from this angle it suddenly looks silver to me. No, I don't know. I guess that's just the way the light's reflecting. Yeah, so it looks almost black, so that's kind of a bummer, but not a big deal. And again, the rest of the face looks really nice. As far as the other details, we've got this pretty gnarly looking Grim Reaper tattoo on the shoulder here. Cool little Grim Reaper holding a scythe, so that's looking pretty wicked. I like that a lot. And then, as we saw on the back of the packaging, we've got the other tattoo on the other arm here, looking pretty gnarly. And, of course, Ripper is pretty punk rock, so we've got... Well, actually, I peg Ripper as more of like a thrash metal guy. But we've got the spiked arm guard here, the spiked armband and everything. We've got the dog tag necklace, which is actually a separate piece that is not sculpted on. Same with this chest strap here with the grenades and everything, and the spiked shoulder strap. That is also a separate piece. I believe you could take that off, maybe? Is that a peg? Yeah, so you can remove this if you would like. I'm not sure how you would get the necklace off. We also have, again, this spiked armband here, which actually, I don't like the way they do the armbands. They just don't fit right. They don't stay in place. They always tend to kind of slide down, and then they just kind of hang loosely at the elbow, and it looks super derpy and awkward. Yeah, that just looks goofy. So yeah, that always happens. It's almost impossible to get them to stay in place. So it'd almost be better if they were sculpted on, but that's a very, very minor issue. What else we got here? Got the chain wallet here, always classic. And yeah, that's about it. So yeah, the figure itself looking pretty awesome. I really like it. Ripper definitely looking pretty tough here, looking pretty wicked. Although I am sad to report, as you can see, obviously the glasses are not sculpted on, and they also do not have any pegs or anything like the Sergeant Slaughter glasses. So let's hope, fingers crossed here, that they fit much better than Buzzer's glasses do. Yeah, there we go. All right. They definitely fit much, much better than Buzzer's glasses did. I'm not going to lie, I would still kind of prefer if they had some way to actually secure them in place. But they seem to be on there really good, I have to say. Yeah, maybe if you're jostling him around a good bit, they might fall off. But as you can see, I'm waving him all around and upside down and everything else, and they're staying in place really well. So, yeah, pretty pleased with that, actually. Yeah, and he looks pretty tough with those glasses on. They're looking really good. Kind of nitpicky. I do still kind of wish they had like little pegs or something just to make absolute certain that they stay in place. But failing any kind of way to secure them, they're on there about as good as you could possibly hope. That's about as good of a fit as you could ask for. So yeah, I'm actually pretty happy with that. Can't complain too much. Alright, then in terms of weapons, we have this knife here with the finger guard or hand guard or whatever you want to call it. I'm not really sure what it is. Let's go ahead and slide that into his sheath here. Then we have this little handgun here, which is looking pretty wicked. I like this quite a bit. We've got the little sort of bayonet blade on the bottom. And yeah, looking pretty wicked. Not often that you see a handgun with a blade on the bottom like that, like bayonet style. So I like that quite a bit. Then we have this bad boy, a pretty iconic weapon. I believe the original Ripper figure came with a gun like this, if I remember correctly. So big honking assault rifle with a big curved blade at the bottom. That's also looking pretty gnarly, I must say. And then last but definitely not least, we have this bad boy. I forget what exactly it's called. It's like Power Jaws or something. Not sure what exactly it is. Some kind of pneumatic nonsense weapon, but it's ludicrously big and kind of goofy looking, which is always good in my book, so I'm a big fan. And do these, I believe these move. Yeah, so these open and close. So yeah, his Power Jaws, and this is a pretty big weapon, as you can see, compared to the figure. It's actually bigger than his torso. Anytime you have a weapon that's bigger than your torso, you know you're in business. So yeah, that's definitely pretty awesome looking. Again, I'm not sure exactly what it is. I guess you just crush stuff with this, but who cares what it is or what it does as long as it looks cool. And it looks cool. So there you go. Okay, I just realized I somehow completely forgot to do articulation. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. Arms forward and backward. Horizontal up to shoulder height. Swivel joint on the bicep. We've got the double pin elbows and knees. Oh my goodness. Oh, gee willikers. That is stiff. Let's maybe this one. Let's try the other one. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay, so his joints are incredibly stiff, but I'm sure I'll get him to loosen up once I mess with it a little bit. Anyways, waist, a little bit of side to side at the waist, not much. Head up, down, all around. I just knocked his glasses wonky. Drop down joint on the hips. Double pin knee. Are they also super stiff? Yes, they are. Goodness gracious. I've got the swivel joint here at the boot, on the boot cut. Feet on the ankle rocker, up, down, all around, all kinds of movement there. Yeah, and also we have an ab crunch. And I almost didn't even see it. I guess it's because it's camouflage. Who knew camouflage was so effective? I guess it really does work, huh? But yeah, I really almost didn't even see this ab crunch here. Especially if you can see the Buzzer figure in the background here and see how glaringly obvious the ab crunch is on that figure. And it is barely noticeable at all in this, unless you're like up close or actively looking for it. You really can't see it. So yeah, camo, it really does work after all, huh? And compared to the Buzzer figure here, I don't know how obvious this is going to be on camera, but if you can see like the kind of gap and the size difference between the two pieces where the ab crunch meets there, like the one piece is much skinnier than the other. There's like a huge difference in the width of those pieces, which I'm assuming is what makes it loosey-goosey. Whereas on this one, they're like equal size. Like it's a smooth transition between those two pieces at the joint. That being said, it also doesn't seem to actually move much at the ab crunch. But again, my figure has incredibly stiff joints, so I don't know if this is just another case of the joint being super stiff, and maybe it'll move more once I loosen it up, or if it's just an ab crunch that doesn't really do much and doesn't really have much motion to it. To be honest, I would rather it just be stiff and immovable rather than flaccid and floppy like old Buzzer here. But yeah, be forewarned, unless mine, again, is just super stiff. It doesn't seem to actually move much at the ab crunch. But yeah, anyways, really happy with this dude. I think this is a really strong figure. Definitely a big step up from the previous two Dreadnoks figures, I would say. Definitely the best of the three so far. Again, I'm really hoping they expand the ranks of the Dreadnoks figures from the classified line. I would assume that Torch would be next because he's the third original member of the Dreadnoks. Ripper, Buzzer, and Torch were the three originals. So I would assume that he would be the next one coming out, and hopefully soon, because again, Torch is my favorite Dreadnok character. But I would also like it if they, again, expand into the other later members of the Dreadnoks, like Thrasher and Road Pig and everybody. I would like to have a whole complete crew of Dreadnoks. That would be pretty fantastic. But yeah, Ripper himself, looking really tough, looking pretty wicked. Really happy with it. Yeah, really nice figure, I would say. A lot of nice detail. The face looks great. I like Ripper's character design to begin with. So yeah, I think he looks pretty tough. And I did test some of the weapons. They do fit much better than Buzzer's did, for example. And again, I hate to keep beating up on that Buzzer figure. It's truly not terrible. It just has a few pretty significant issues. But yeah, Ripper, really solid figure. Really like it. Definitely 2 thumbs up for me. Yeah, definitely the best Dreadnok so far. So yeah, anyways, until next time, thank you for watching, and goodbye.